Welcome to our explainer on the ultimate 3-month GMAT study plan. Today, we're locking in on a high-stakes masterclass goal. We're going to break down the exact blueprint you need to hit that highly competitive 700-plus GMAT score, and we're going to do it in just 90 days. Now, whether you're cracking open a prep book for the absolute first time, or you're a seasoned test taker looking to seriously bump up your score, this structured plan is about to become your new best friend.
So you might be wondering, can you actually prepare for the GMAT in just 3 months? A lot of folks out there will tell you it takes half a year, but I'm here to promise you a definitive yes, you absolutely can. But, and this is a big but, only if you follow a highly structured, relentless plan. We're not just going to guess our way through this. We're using a proven framework to maximize every single minute of your study time over the next 12 weeks.
All right, let's quickly look at the syllabus for this explainer so you know exactly what's coming. First up, the GMAT starting line. Then our 12-week step-by-step checklist. Next, your daily schedule and resources. After that, the biggest mistakes to avoid. And finally, your final week exam strategy.
Okay, Section 1, the GMAT starting line. Let's get right into it.
Before you even think about opening a textbook, let's clarify who this roadmap is actually built for. Honestly, this plan is perfectly designed whether you're a complete beginner, a working professional juggling a demanding 9 to 5, or a college student swamped with a heavy course load. It also works brilliantly for retakers who didn't quite hit the mark the first time around. Our target here? That highly competitive 655 to 705 plus range. That's exactly the sweet spot you need to be competitive for top-tier MBA programs.
Now, here's the absolute most crucial point to start. You cannot, I repeat, cannot start studying immediately. I know the temptation is to just dive into practice questions so you feel productive, but stop right there. Step 1 of your starting line is to take a full-length diagnostic test. You know, a surprisingly huge percentage of test takers skip this entirely, just because of ego. But you need hard data on your current baseline. You have to identify your strengths, your hidden weaknesses, your raw accuracy, and your natural speed. It's literally the only way to build a personalized study plan that targets what you actually need to improve.
Moving on to Section 2, our 12-week step-by-step checklist.
This is where we convert our timeline into a highly actionable, simple step-by-step checklist. It's a chronological countdown. Step 1, month 1, is all about building concepts. Step 2, month 2, focuses entirely on practice and speed. And Step 3, month 3, shifts over to full mocks and review. It's a perfect progression from learning to practicing to absolute mastery. Let's break each of these months down.
Diving into our checklist, we kick things off with month 1. Fundamentals. This covers your first 4 weeks. This phase is all about foundational concepts. For quant, you're focusing entirely on arithmetic, number properties, and algebra. For verbal, you're mastering reading comprehension and critical reasoning. And for data insights, you are unpacking data sufficiency, tables, and graphs. Listen closely here because your only goal right now is to understand the concepts. Forget the clock. Speed will come naturally later. But right now, if it takes you 10 solid minutes to fully grasp the logic of a single problem, take the 10 minutes.
Next on the checklist is month 2, practice. Spanning weeks 5 through 8, this is exactly where we ramp up the intensity. We're building accuracy and speed using a strict daily quota. Every single day, you're going to tackle exactly 30 quant questions, 20 verbal questions, and 15 data insights questions. And on top of that daily grind, you're bringing in a weekly requirement, one sectional test followed immediately by a rigorous review of every single mistake you made. This is the magical phase where your brain starts to really recognize patterns under pressure. Finally, we hit month 3 exam prep, wrapping up weeks 9 through 12. The motto here is super simple. Test like it's exam day. Your focus shifts entirely to readiness. Every single week, you're taking one full-length official mock exam. You'll analyze your mistakes relentlessly, and you'll really fine-tune that time management strategy. That way, when you see the clock ticking down on the actual test day, there's absolutely no panic.
And that brings me to honestly one of the most important takeaways in this entire explainer. Improvement happens during review, not while taking the mock. I literally cannot emphasize this enough. Just sitting there taking test after test is practically useless if you don't spend an equal or even greater amount of time actively reviewing your mistakes. The mock test is just there to diagnose the illness, right? The review process is the actual cure.
All right, Section 3, your daily schedule and resources. To actually pull this off, you need a micro-daily grind. We're talking about a weekday commitment of roughly 2 to 3 hours a day, and it's designed so working professionals can actually manage it. Here's how it breaks down. 45 minutes dedicated to quant, 45 minutes for verbal, 30 minutes for data insights, and crucially, 15 minutes strictly for reviewing your error log. This steady daily compounding is how you win. Then you save all your heavy lifting, like your full mock tests and really intense weak area practice, for the weekend when you have way more uninterrupted time.
When you're executing this daily plan, there's a very clear dividing line in your toolkit. On one side, you have your absolute must-have official GMAT resources from GMAT. We're talking MBA.com, the official guide, and the official practice exams. These give you the most authentic questions and should always be your foundation. On the other side, you have your supplementary resources, things like GMAT Club, Target Test Prep, or Manhattan Prep. You need to think of these third-party tools purely as reinforcement. Use them to patch up weak spots only after you've built your house on that official foundation.
Let's move to section 4, the biggest mistakes to avoid. Look, knowing what to do is only half the battle. We also have to dodge the massive pitfalls that constantly ruin scores for brilliant students. Let's rapid fire through these. Number 1, studying without a plan. Well, you're already fixing that by being here. Number 2, ignoring data insights. Guys, it is not a side solid, it's a main course. Do not sleep on it or it will absolutely drag your overall score down. Number 3, and this is huge, memorizing instead of understanding. The GMAT is a test of logic, not memory. If you just memorize formulas without grasping the underlying concepts, they will trick you. Number 4, skipping error analysis. And number 5, taking way too many mocks without reviewing them. Remember, quality over quantity every single time. So the big takeaway here is that a 700+ score is born from a very specific strategy. First, focus on accuracy over speed in the beginning. Second, you absolutely must master the medium difficulty questions. People love to obsess over the hardest questions, but missing the medium ones, that is what actually tanks your score. Third, track every single mistake in an error log. And fourth, stay consistent. Showing up every day will beat cramming every single day of the week. And finally, section 5, your final week exam strategy. Okay, you've made it to the end of the 90-day checklist. Now for those final 7 days before you actually sit for the exam, here's your strict protocol. First rule, do not, under any circumstances, attempt to learn new topics. It will only shatter your confidence. Instead, spend your final days reviewing your formula sheet and going over that error log you've worked so hard to build. When you do practice, just stick to easy and medium questions to keep your brain warm and your confidence high. And above all else, prioritize getting proper sleep, stay calm, and trust in the massive amount of work you've put in over the last 3 months. I want to leave you with a question to ponder as we wrap this up. Will you rely on last-minute cramming, or will you build the step-by-step consistency required to truly conquer the GMAT? The blueprint is in your hands now. You just have to go out and execute it. In our next explainer, we're going to dive right into step 1 of your checklist by tackling GMAT quant fundamentals, specifically number properties. Until then, remember to learn smarter and score higher. See you next time.